Okay, so despite the lack of posting, I actually have a lot of video ideas I'm dying to film, some of which I started planning almost a year ago and still have not gotten around to, which I'm sorry about. I am my own worst enemy, literally driving myself crazy at this point, but I was like, girl, get it together. We need to film something, okay? Let's just get the ball rolling again. When I started gathering items that I was keen to try styling, I realized that I've been scrolling on TikTok for far too long once again and have been influenced. So many of these were falling under some of the key trends I keep seeing pop up. And then I was kind of left wondering, do I even like these trends at the moment, or have I just been swept up in like the mindless scrolling? So I guess we're gonna find out today. First on the list has to be jorts because they're just inescapable at this point, which I find kind of funny because I get that all trends kind of come and go in waves, but jorts, when they're not at their peak, I feel like they really are at the bottom, one of the most hated items. So it makes them a little bit polarizing even when they do come back around. Personally, your girl has been a fan of John Cena since back in the day, so very familiar with the concept, but just not something I necessarily have tried out for myself. I feel like you gotta give bonus points when a trend is thriftable. This one definitely is, although it was a little bit of a struggle. At least here you have to be searching in the men's section, and it's kind of like a fine line in finding the right amount of baggy. I ended up going with a pair of jeans which I cut off to the desired length. I was feeling pretty good, like the most difficult part is done. I've actually found a pair, but no, turns out I have no idea how to style these. A lot of the reference images I had saved I love, like come on, they look incredible, but I soon realized that if I was actually to wear that style, I wouldn't look that good because I wouldn't feel comfortable. It's just not my personal style. So whenever I'm working with a piece like that, I kind of try and counteract it by choosing an item that is literally so inside my comfort zone, something that I would throw on every single day. And in my case, that is this little laced bolero thing. The top I paired with it is from K-fashion brand Kirsch, and it says something along the lines of like tomboy is the new princess, which instantly reminds me of G-Idol. Yeah. So I kind of ran with that and took inspiration from some of their Queen card stages, very 2000s energy. If you really wanted to amp it up, you would switch it out for kitten heels, but I played it safe with the sneakers. I think my verdict on this one is that I can definitely see the appeal on others, but on me personally, I don't think it's something I really need to be partaking in, but let me know what you think, like toodle boot on all of these trends today. I'm just taking a quick moment to thank today's video sponsor, award-winning VPN Surfshark. You guys know I have big love for them. They help me access more content from around the world as well as keeping me safe online. With Surfshark, I'm able to quickly and easily change my location settings and then instantly have access to a ton more content that's not usually available in my region. This works great if you're traveling and trying to access things from back home, but also perfect for those of us who just want to explore a new region and find something binge-worthy. I'm currently looking for something to fill the void because I just finished watching all 10 seasons of Vanderpump Rules. But even when you're done with your binge watching, Surfshark still have you covered by ensuring your safety online. They do this through various methods, including adding an extra layer of protection when you're using public Wi-Fi, or by preventing companies and bots from tracking your personal information. And Surfshark actually offers unlimited devices under just one account, so you will always feel safe. You can get an exclusive Surfshark deal if you enter my code SPOTLIGHT, plus an extra 3 months for free. And since Surfshark offer a 30-day money-back guarantee, you can try it all risk-free yourself via the link on screen and down below in the description box. I feel like the thing about TikTok is that it is so tailored for you that it's really easy to lose perspective on what's actually popular amongst the majority. Like, just because you've seen this 100 times doesn't necessarily mean that it's gone viral to the same extent as other trends, which I'm feeling like might be the case for this one. But let me know if you guys have been getting the Japanese horror game aesthetic pop up a lot recently. The outfits are so freaking cute, and especially if you really like kind of anime sort of style, but it feels a little bit too over the top or costumey, I feel like this is a nice toned down version. I had so many options for this in my wardrobe already because a lot of the key items are things that I would consider wardrobe basics for my style as well. But I wanted to try and push myself a little bit, so I chose to style this shirt that I never reached for, but definitely felt like it could fit under this category. And I think it turned out well, kind of brought new life to it by adding the detachable collar and layering on the vest. Admittedly, it did still kind of end up landing in costume territory just a little bit. It's kind of giving she's excited that Black Butler's making a return. So I still wanted to show that it is still actually very easy for this to be a more toned down look. I've got my pleated plaid skirt and then this puffy sleeve top. Lace camis are a good option too. And then opting for a more loose fit with the knitwear I thought made sense in this sort of scenario. Like, you're probably gonna look a little bit disheveled in a horror game situation. This one I love could totally see me wearing, so I'm gonna give it a toot. I know I have actually had a few requests to do outfits inspired by different games. The only reason I haven't gotten around to it is because I'm not a gamer myself personally, so I'm always worried about doing it justice. I don't know, it might end up being something I'm more comfortable just doing in short form content instead, but something I do really want to film is like 2000s manga inspired outfits. The need to add core to the end of practically every style imaginable over the last few years is so funny to me. Like, what did we do before that? I feel like some people are genuinely annoyed by it, but I don't know, I think it just makes things easier to put into searchable terms. I think that's the main reason people do it. Mermaidcore is the one I want to tackle at the moment. I feel like this did become popular last year, but it feels like it's still going pretty strong, I guess because it is summer for majority of people at the moment. But I think this is another one where I could create the perfect Pinterest worthy board for you, but if you asked me to actually style it myself, I'm gonna have a harder time. I don't know if this is just my own filter my mind has applied, but to me, mermaid core feels a little bit more bombshell rather than fairy core that's more like, I don't know the word I'm looking for, but I feel like I definitely fit more into that one. I also just don't really have much to work with in those like purple, blue, deep ocean sort of colors, so I've decided to go in a slightly different direction. I guess one that includes some sort of algae in the water, I don't know. I also thrifted this dress in like a pearly white color. It was actually originally from Meshki, and I feel like it must have been fairly recent because it kind of has like the trending frill ruffle. Honestly, as a dress, it was doing nothing for me. You guys know these like fast fashion, really thin polyester materials that are just so unflattering. So I actually ended up cutting it down the seam so I could wear it as like a flowing top sort of situation instead. To try and bring up some of that color from the skirt, I also added this kind of turquoise mesh top and then just kept layering what I thought would be an appropriate amount for a mermaid. But where I really ran into issue is what shoes are you supposed to wear? Mermaids don't wear shoes. Even when they turn into a human, they're probably barefoot on the beach. And me personally, I don't like to have the dogs out, okay? I like to have enclosed shoes where possible. So my choice in the end is probably somewhat questionable, but even these I had to dig up from the bottom of a storage box. So if you're a mermaid core girly, or this goes for fairy core as well, because I run into the same problem there too, what is the appropriate footwear? Please tell me. I don't even really know what I would rate this one in the end. I feel like it's a toot if you're doing photo shoots, but like realistically for everyday wear, it's not gonna work for me. Let's talk about statement belts. I feel like they're definitely having a moment. I guess it kind of goes hand in hand with low rise coming back as well. I feel like what I'm seeing most frequently are those like round medallion sort of style ones. I don't actually know what they're called, but either way, I feel like it is kind of giving micro trend. I hate to say that, but I feel like what makes something a micro trend is just how quickly people get sick of it. And when it's something like this that is such a specific piece rather than a trend that has like an overarching theme where people can interpret it in different ways, I feel like that tends to have a little bit more longevity to it. I actually thrifted this one. It's just like a braided leather and then has the medallion as the centerpiece, so something a little bit different, and honestly a miracle that I even found this because I feel like it is almost impossible to find belts at the thrift store, at least in my area. When I first started op shopping like 10 years ago, it was one of the easiest things to find, but now there's only ever like a couple of dingy ones hanging there. Obviously these lean into more of a boho sort of style, which quite frankly I just wasn't in the mood to try and style, so I decided to go for the double belts trend instead. This is something I feel like you can be a little bit more creative with rather than just being copy and paste. And in my case, I actually ended up making one myself just out of some scrap denim fabric in the shape of a star and then attaching some ribbons. I teamed it with just another single eyelet belt, but I feel like if it was something a bit chunkier, that would have been even better. But overall, I would say that this is the trend that let me be closest to my own personal style. Like I would 100% wear this outfit even if I wasn't doing the double belts. Also, I'm sorry, but can we please take a moment for the fact that I nabbed this hysteric glamour tee from buyee after the buyee haul that I had filmed. I actually did another sneaky little purchase. Don't worry, nowhere near as crazy. But when I saw this one for a fairly reasonable price, I just could not say no. And if anyone was interested, the other thing I got was the iconic angel blue McDonald's clog. I spoke about it in my haul and I had to go back for her because I just couldn't stop thinking about it. And honestly, I think it was worth it in the end because every time I walk into my room and see her, it just sparks a little bit of joy within me, and I feel like everyone deserves that. If this was a wish list video, top of the list would be the new release from Gentle Monster. Are you kidding me? The glasses with the little customizable piercings. So good. Obviously I sadly do not own them, but I'm just talking about the more general trend of like the slim little reading glasses. Very simple, Miu Miu, Giselle Bundchen in Devil Wears Prada. Referring to them as bayonetta glasses will also get you a lot of results. Even before we style this one today, I'm already giving it a toot because it is tried and tested in my wardrobe, and you could style these a bunch of different ways. I wanted to stick to more of like a sleek, minimal, cool girl. Hopefully you get the vibe I mean. I think for the most part that was just because I was dying to find an excuse to style this recent thrift find, and this is actually copine. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that somewhat okay. My jaw dropped when I found this. This is the sort of brand that I always search on Depop but never end up buying, and I've never had any luck finding brand names of any sort in the Brisbane op shops that I frequent, so this was insane to me. Such a cool piece with the little built-in knitted arm warmers and the flower brooch. I think because I had that Giselle Bundchen reference on my mind, I was kind of channeling like office wear but fashionable, which always brings me back to a good pair of pinstripe pants. And then also just to spice it up a little and I guess add another trend into today's mix, I added my favorite skirt to pair over pants. This is always a win in my book. It has never steered me wrong. Are you ever watching a trend video and something that you have literally never perceived as being a trend pops up and you're just like blown away by it? Because that happened to me recently when someone was talking about red Mary Janes. Like, huh? Since when? The more I thought about it, I was like, I guess red is technically kind of a trending color at the moment, and we particularly do see it a lot in footwear, and I've been seeing it in tights as well. But for some reason, to me, red is timeless. And even if you want to go more specific and say red Mary Janes, I've literally had this pair, I want to say for like 6 or 7 years. And you know what else they remind me of? Dorothy from The Wizard of Oz. So I was like, let's just double down and team it with some blue gingham as well. I don't necessarily know how I feel about it being a capri length because that is something I still kind of struggle with, but if I'm gonna wear it, it would definitely be with this style of shoe. And I liked the idea of then going for a longer length on top in the form of this little lace dress. And I know the bows and ribbons trend has been with us for a while now, so some people might be getting sick of it, but not me. I am still very much on board. Obviously, it's just so cute and such an easy way to add interest to your outfit, and if you want a pop of color as well. So the ribbons trend would definitely be a toot, as well as the original trend we were talking about, red footwear. But how I've styled it today, I feel like is actually still quite questionable. Obviously feeling it in the moment, but in hindsight, I think it might be leaning boot for the capris. Did you really think I would sit here dressed like this and not mention mermaidcore? Clearly, I'm a fan. I practically live in jerseys at this point, but don't worry, I'm not gonna style it for today's category. That felt like cheating and you guys probably would have killed me if I rocked up in it one more time. Plus, there is other options for us to explore within this aesthetic. I'm actually gonna break it up into 2 separate looks. The first one definitely leans heavier on the bloke side of bloquette. There's still a lot of the track jackets going around and seeing more and more of, I guess, like the soccer shorts as well. Personally, I'm more of a basketball girly, so that's what I went with. And honestly, I feel like you can't go wrong if that's how you choose to participate in this trend, because even if you kind of get sick of it in a few months, trust and believe you will still be wearing those damn basketball shorts around the house. Literally the most comfortable thing. And just in case anyone was wondering, yes, these are Jazz shorts. They were on clearance at TK Maxx around the same time that the Timberwolves had traded some of my favorite players, including Jared Vanderbilt, to the Jazz. I was a really big Timberwolves fan, and they made one of the worst trades of all time and ruined my life. So yeah, which by the way, as someone who lives as a K-pop fan and a sports fan, I wholeheartedly agree that there really is no difference, and grown men have no business judging girls for their interests. It's just shut your mouth. But anyway, back to the fit. I'm really loving the color combo. These are like the colors I needed for mermaidcore, but here it is really working. And I feel like for me, since with this one, we're leaning more on the blokey side with the silhouette, having the fun colors really brings it back into my personal style, as well as the more coquette sort of accessories with the cutesy bows. And of course, you could also lean more on the opposite side, bringing in the coquette influence. And for this, my favorite color combo is a baby pink and a light gray. There's something about this combo that just makes me feel like the everyday princess. I don't know. Obviously, there's only really just a hint of that athletic style with this t-shirt. Another one of my really lucky thrift finds recently, but I feel like that teamed with the sneakers is just enough for me. Again, if this was a wish list video or we were just living in the perfect world, I would actually be teaming it up with this recent Asics collab. Oh my god. the most beautiful sneaker I have ever seen. I almost forgot, but I feel like it's kind of a no-brainer. Yes, this is gonna be a toot for me. Let me know what your tally ended up being as well. And of course, don't forget to check out today's video sponsor, Surfshark. All the links down below in the description box. And let me know any video ideas you guys want to see. I know I said I had quite a long list of them going that I just can't seem to find the inspiration to actually get in the mood to film them, but I don't know, maybe some of your ideas will help spark something within me. But otherwise, hopefully I see you guys really, really soon. Bye!